I'm McCare with More Prana Gardens, and today I'm going to be potting up some pepper plants. I'm moving this year, and that is why mine are going into pots, but I realize that you might have other reasons. Maybe you just prefer planting into pots. Maybe you live in an apartment or in a rental where you can't use the ground. There's any number of reasons. It doesn't matter. Whatever your reason is absolutely valid, and I'm just going to show you how to do it. All right, let's start by looking at what you're going to need. So obviously, you're going to need some pepper plants if you're going to pot up some pepper plants. I got some from the nursery, and I started some myself from seed. Now, all of my pepper plants are looking a little bit yellow in the leaves right now. We've had so much rain, and it's just washed through. So they're going to get some new soil, they're going to get some more worm castings and some other stuff. And when I'm finished, I will be feeding them with a foliar spray out of my compost tea. Whatever you use to feed your plants is good for you. Obviously, we're going to need some pots. I'm going with these 5-gallon fabric pots that I bought off of Amazon. I'm going to put 2 peppers per pot, because peppers like to hold hands. You can do 1 or 2, you can do bigger pots or smaller pots. I wouldn't go much smaller than like a 3-gallon if you're doing a single pepper. You're gonna need some kind of potting soil. So I'm gonna be using Happy Frog from Fox Farms. This is complete. It would be fine for me to go ahead and use this. I do tend to amend because it helps me stretch the expensive soil. Then I can kind of customize things to my needs. So like here, we get hot, and in the summer we have drought. So I'm gonna be adding some cocoa coir that will help keep my soil from getting hydrophobic. It helps it drain, but it also helps it hold the water. It's kind of one of those dual function thingies. I'm gonna add some perlite to help with the drainage because I don't want it to stay waterlogged either, you know? I'm gonna be adding some worm castings. They are from my own. You can buy worm castings, that's fine too. Is that it? Plants, pots, soil, cocoa coir, perlite, worm castings, mycorrhizal fungi. That's the other thing I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add some mycorrhizal fungi to my soil mix because that helps extend the root zones. In the ground, it would help multiple plants communicate with each other. In the pot, it's just going to extend the root zones a little bit so that they can take in nutrients and water that aren't immediately touching their roots. It's like an extension cord for your plant. And then the final thing that we're going to need is some plant tags. I got these off of Amazon when I ordered the pots. They weren't from the same seller, I don't believe. Just something that you can label so that you know what color you're expecting out of your plants or what pepper you're expecting. Like I have different kinds of jalapeños. Some are yellow, some are orange, some ripen to red, but they all start green. The yellow ones are particularly aggressive, so I don't want to think I'm going for the red one and bite into the yellow one. So labels are helpful. All right, and I guess I failed to mention that you're gonna need something to mix your soil in. I do have a wheelbarrow. I could mix it in there. That would allow me to do all of it at once, but we've been getting a lot of rain, like I mentioned, and if I have excess soil sitting in the wheelbarrow and the wheelbarrow sits out in the rain, it's gonna rust more. This is some that I mixed up last night when I was starting some seeds, and we're gonna add to it. So cocoa coir comes dry in a block a lot of times. You can buy it in other ways too. And I partially hydrated this, and I'm just gonna add it in and crumble it. If you buy it in a block, it's gonna have a lot more structure than this. This has already been partially hydrated, so it falls apart nice and easy. So I'm just gonna mix in a little bit of that. We don't need a whole lot. And then I'm gonna go heavy with the Happy Frog. I've got a couple of bags of it. I have this half bag, and I've got another one behind me. You might wanna use a scoop of some sort. If you've been around for a long time, you know that I stuck my hand in a bag of soil one day a couple of years ago and pulled back a spider bite. It was just a wolf spider, so it wasn't bad at all. And the Happy Frog already has a bunch of nutrients in it. It already has some perlite in it, so I don't need to add a whole lot. I think it already has mycos in it as well, but we're gonna add more just in case. The mycos, you want to add 1 to 2 teaspoons of mycobliss per gallon size pot. If this soil didn't already have it in there, I would be adding quite a bit. Ew, water got in my mycos. So normally it's a powder, but it rained in there apparently. So that's all right. And I'm gonna add some perlite. Just a little bit, so I'm running out. Now my Mycos, Perlite, Coco Coir, I get all of that from Plantonics, and there is a link down in the description so that you can get a discount if you order from them. I'm just gonna mix all this up with my hands, nice and messy. Oops, I forgot my worm castings. You can get a bag with handles, you don't have to, totally up to you. So I've filled my bag up most of the way, 2-3 inches at the top. And that's going to be good for right now. I'm going to grab, let's see, who is this? My early hot jalapenos are going to go in first. Now, if you're planting your peppers and you already have peppers and flowers on the plants, you have a choice. You can leave them on, or you can pull them. Right now, I have peppers. I don't have any flowers. I think that's due to all the rain. So I am going to pull the peppers once I get them planted. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pots and I'm just going to sink them in a little bit. And that's going to kind of give me a little indentation for the bottom of the plant. Turn the pot over in your hand with your fingers around the stem to help take it out. And you can squeeze the pot if you need to. That can help a lot. I got it before it got root bound. And then I'm just going to set this down into the little indentation that I made for it. And then same thing on this one. This one has a lost leaf. So I'm going to put my fingers around the stem and flip it over. This one didn't pop out as easy, so I'm going to squeeze the pot. And there it goes. If squeezing the pot doesn't work, you can give it a little thump. And I'm going to set this one down into the indentation that I made for it. Once I've done those, I'm just going to fill in around. If it's not root bound, there's really no need to like break up the roots at all. I'm just sinking these a little bit deeper. There's no reason to break up the roots if they're not root bound. They'll be okay. Peppers, similar to tomatoes, can grow roots along their stems. So I'm going to give them just a little bit deeper than they were in. Maybe I'll add soil to about 1 inch up the stem from where it was. And I don't want to fill all the way up to the top of my pot so that my soil doesn't run out when I water. And I used up that whole tray. You know, I think I would like to add a little bit more soil on top of that. I'm just going to grab some of this straight Happy Frog here. I hope there's no spiders in there. All right. Yep. There we go. We're good. Oh, my pepper fell off. All sorts of shenanigans going on. Okay. And there they are. So it's super simple. Nothing's really complicated about them. They don't need any kind of extra special anything. Just some good nutritious soil that will allow water to move and a good pot. Now I will put this into a plastic saucer. I like to set my fabric pots into a plastic saucer. It helps them retain the water so that it doesn't well, it runs out the bottom of the pot, but it'll collect here and just hold on to a little bit of it and help it, you know, a little in the extreme heat. So this was early hot jalapeno. Here's this tag, and we're all set. All right, so I've got a few more of these to do. You've got the hang of it, I feel like, and you can always watch the video again if you need. Go forth and plant, have a good time, and if you want to find out how I got those worm castings, how I make my own, you can check out this video right here. Later, y'all.